To the Good Intention Show, coming to you live on the UI Radio Network. The Good Intention Show is sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation at unitedintentions.org, a virtual community where you learn to create, track, and manifest your passions one intention at a time. Look for us on Blog Talk, Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, Player FM, and many more. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram under United Intentions and on Twitter at Higher Intention. Yes, this is the Good Intention Show, where you will meet people who live life intentionally and hear about things they're not telling you in the mainstream media. And now, here's the truth seeker, the snake charmer, a legend in his own mind, broadcasting live all over the universe, your host, Mr. Tim Ray.
DJY listeners out there. You hear that? WDJY listeners out there. Hello and good morning. Welcome to the Good Intention Show. I'm Tim Ray, your host. Also, I want to say a little shout out to WWNN and WBOB listeners all around Georgia and Florida and growing. Of course, as our Facebook and internet and everybody else we got going on as we're jamming to some good rock and roll music, thanks to Wahid over here.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, man. That's courtesy of Floodgate.
Floodgate.
That's the group called
Oh, really?
Floodgate. Yeah.
So these are original music that we're listening to here, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
My guys, my Verde Music Group artist, too.
Verde Music Group. That's why he's unbelievable company. He's has rocking and rolling, and just so proud that you're here helping us share your original music, too, and all your original artists that you work with.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you.
Oh, wonderful. So, guys, we have a great show today. We're going to have a show on attitude about gratitude. What do you think of that? Being grateful for what we have. And let me tell you something. For mavericks and entrepreneurs and movers and shakers, such as myself and millions of others out there, one of the things I have to say that we forget often is just that. We're always thinking about the next endeavor rather than being grateful for what we have in front of our face. And I often have to be reminded by that by not only people in my immediate life, but even people at work. You know, Tim, show some gratitude for what you've done, what we're doing, what I've done. You're right. It's something that's an ongoing, present moment recognition. I wish it was something that I would be able to always be focused on, but I can. You know, and I wake up in the morning, I slow things down. If I'm not jumping out of bed, feeding dogs or whatever I do in the morning times,
right.
I would sit back and just be grateful for three things that I enjoy doing. And it's something that my brother taught me. He's in the AA program. He's been sober for, I think, for 8 years. No, 10 years. In fact, he wants me to come give his button out, or I don't know what they call it. The coin or something.
Right.
This year in July. So, and you know, I see him at the worst time and at the best times. You know, so I just think that it's something that I'm grateful for. But he taught me a long time ago, just list three things every morning what you're grateful for. It could be the same things, doesn't really matter. Just list three things. Start your day off that way. And end your day that way. What are three things that happened that day that you're grateful for? It's that simple. And I still don't do it. You know? So we have a great guest today, Gaia Love. She is a goddess in many ways and a brilliant woman who lives in gratitude. And just from my introduction with her earlier, there's this energy vibe that I feel very connected, like we've known each other, you know? But at the same time, you could tell she comes from a state of gratefulness, and we're going to be talking to her today. So hang in there. You're going to want to listen to this show. So much to discuss, and as we go deeper into gratitude, as well as many other things, how about the feminine energy? You know, in the feminine energy, people hear about, women power and all this stuff, and you have women kind of embracing the masculine energy. They think that's feminine energy,
right.
And it's not. You know, it's like you're trying to be more like a guy. No, it's not the feminine energy. It's the feminine energy is being the feminine, being the gratitude, the nurturer. All that comes along with that, and owning it. You know, expressing it.
Yeah.
Not that there's nothing wrong with masculine energy. It's just that. My understanding of feminine energy, that's our ascension process. That's how we grow. That's how we ascend. That's how we move forward and up and onward, or descend into a land of beauty and nurturing and of protective, not protective, but that's more the masculine energy is protective.
Right. But that's that balance. I mean, if everybody,
if
the females don't want to have their female energy.
It's
lopsided.
It's the media. Don't listen to the media. Right. It's called confusing. They want you not to know if you're a guy or a girl. They don't. It's very purposeful and deliberate, and I think very insidious. So, the point is, there is a difference between feminine and masculine energy, and they're both beautiful. And they both complement each other. And we all have that within ourselves. And that's something that we'll be getting into, too, as well. And one thing I want to say, if you want to join our conversation or get involved, you could always call our new number, which is, for the first time ever, Beth Peters is going to be so happy. We have a new number. It's 678-495-4345, 678-495-4345. And join the conversation. We'll probably take some calls later on in the show. We have Psychic Soup today with Beth Peters, I mentioned earlier. She, I think her and Beth is coming on. I mean, her and Dawn, I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway, Beth will be here with one of her shows at 12:30. Also, we have the Silver Lining Show, from tragedy to triumph. People who have lived that type of experience in life. They had horrible moments in the life, and they turn them around to make lemon out of lemonade, lemonade out of lemons. So she will be on at 6 o'clock tonight. 6 o'clock, right? 6 o'clock. Maria will be on, and she'll be talking about that as well. We also have more sponsors getting involved, which is great. Growing the network as we go. And check out our website, unitedintentions.org. It's a place where you can learn to create, track, manifest your intentions. It's a community. It's a new community. It's building. We get momentum every day. And people have to understand intentions are everything. There are thoughts and feelings, and having it is a purposeful thought and feeling, or I like to say is a knowing that hasn't happened yet. This is part of the matrix we live in and how our manifestation process works, right? So check it out. It's a place you can experiment with this process, this secret, as The Secret talks about, this quantum physics, this way of how our thoughts first, experience second type of process. I have to say, I really enjoyed my interview with Michael Simeka last week.
That was excellent.
You guys haven't seen that? Go check it out. Yeah, it was wonderful. And we're going to have him back on a more regular basis. I don't know if we convinced him to become a host, but I think we did get him back to be a co-host with me, right? Yeah. So we'll be good on that. We talked about that, too, how the looping process. I digress. So, but check it out. Go to unitedintentions.org. You'll appreciate that, and learn to meet like-minded souls who are trying to figure out this world and define the reality just as you are. So, again, you can call in at 678-495-4345. And I'll tell you, this guest here is such a sweet soul and a loving soul, a guy I love. And, I hope that's, probably her. I don't know if it's a real name. We'll find out. But Gaia, world, right? Love,
Right.
I'd love the name. But either way, that's her name. So we're going with that. And she lives in the Pacific Northwest, and she's inspired many individuals as a motivational muse. A muse. Only experience I had with muses is the one that movie with called The Muse with what's his name, Albert Brooks. And it was a little bit scary experience for him. I think at the end it worked out. I think I might have experienced that in the last 8 months myself. But I think she's more of a loving muse, not one that's going to put you through the ringer.
Right. I don't feel that energy. I feel like it's love.
Yeah, I know. It's all Gaia love. And she also practices positive psychology, and she has a degree in that field as well. She grew up in New Orleans, huh? Good cuisine, I bet, appreciation. And she understands multiple abilities and golden gifts within the soul, and she has so much to share. Without further ado, and there's many more aspects to her. So, but I want to bring that in. I want to bring her in now, and let's start talking about gratitude. Gaia, are you there?
Yes, I'm so grateful. Oh. Hello. Hi.
Hi. Listen, what a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful way to start the week here with gratitude, huh?
Yes, I'm so grateful to align with you in this position right here, right now. I mean, it's just like a true manifestation. Like, it's working. So grateful.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. Yes. I have been listening to your show and every single day right there with you.
Oh,
and
wow.
Now here we are. Yeah. I mean,
wonderful.
So excited about what you guys are doing.
Well, it's been a brainchild of mine for a long time, but it's given me an opportunity a medium to come out and let my authentic self come out as I unfold. You know, trust me, how I was in mindset, you know, a year ago is different because people like you come on, and I learned so much. This is like I was telling Michael, you like my interactive audio book here. This is how I learn, is by talking to incredible souls like you who help me grow, and my beliefs are constantly evolving. And I want to thank you. And my first gratitude is to thank you for coming on the show and helping me evolve today.
Oh, wow. It seems like a dream come true, as I feel the same towards you, actually.
Excellent.
And yes, as I began to research the field of manifestation and living with intention, I found you.
Wow.
And yeah, like I found you first.
See, Wahid,
here we are. Yeah.
Wahid, this was a relationship meant to be.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
I like how we're starting out already.
It's excellent.
I was telling him that before you came on, and quite honestly, I've just been blown away with your whole platform and just what you're doing. And I have a little sweet spot for Atlanta, as I grew up along the Gulf Coast, and actually from Alabama, the Gulf Shores of Alabama, and spent a lot of time in Atlanta, and just amazed by what you're doing there. And then, of course, as you were speaking about the United Intentions website and placing those intentions and like aligning with all the people who are also doing that, it's been amazing for me. I just really support what you're doing 100%. Yeah.
Well, welcome to the family, because you're part of it now. All right.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Like, it's amazing.
Okay.
Super happy.
So, Gaia Love is love. Is this your name? You kind of evolved into your spiritual name, or how did it evolve?
Yeah, so, you know, I work a lot with children, and my background in the beginning was preschool. And so, you know, we're given our earthly names by our parents, and I'm grateful for that experience. But as I began to evolve and awaken into my actual self, I have been given this name. And it was interesting. I really didn't know what it meant. It was given to me by a young child. And it was a very authentic giving, if you will. Yeah. And so I went with it. And for the longest time, I'm very humble in a lot of ways. And for the longest time, I didn't even know what that meant. I spent some time in Hawaii, Kauai to be exact, running an international hostel there. And as I met many international guests, every single day they would say, "Oh, Gaia, Gaia," and then they would say Earth Mother, et cetera, et cetera. And it was such a celebratory thing because I didn't know that's what the name I had been given was. And so I went with that. And then it's really interesting. The people who have known me my whole entire life, it just became who I was. And even my family members who would probably be like, "Gaia, what does that mean?" You know, but they even accept me as that as well. Many times I think about, accepting something like Gaia Love, but that really is the embodiment of my soul outwardly, who I am. Yes.
You know, it's funny. I appreciate everything you just said, and we were just at a what was that this weekend we were at? We were at a just an event, and we're talking about our Imagine If. We had a booth and everything. And one of our folks who works with us on the Imagine If program, Lisa, she had a shirt on, and I remember 3 out of the 4 things, but it just resonated with me, and I think it's more so relevant and important that people embrace this more so now than ever before. And one of the things was said, it said, "What's your race?" And she has, and the answer was the human race.
Human, yes.
Yeah. And then she had, what's your politics? And then it had freedom, right? And then it said, "What's your religion?" And then it had love, right? And,
yes.
And there was one more thing on there I can't remember, but it was just. It's like everyone could identify with that, and here we're so worried about defining ourselves and palling up with people who are like or who are just like us, rather than looking at it from a bigger perspective that we're all humans. We all want love, and And, you know, and we all want freedom to be our authentic selves, right? And so it's like, why can't we? And see, you embody that not only in your name, but just in how you carry yourself. You embody those principles. Even I don't need the word principles. Those human way of living, you know. But to me, that makes total sense, and I think you would appreciate that more than anyone. I think we got her frozen there. So as she gets unfrozen, we're going to be talking about gratefulness and going forward with what does that mean to be grateful on a daily basis. And also, let's bring a little science into it. Let's talk a little bit about the biochemical reactions going on in our minds when we are in a grateful state of being. Because, you know, you have different hormones and different reactions. You know, when you're in fear, you have that fight or flight, you have that adrenaline, you have the cortisone flowing through your body and your system. And when you're in constant fear, I mean, day after day after day, but when you watch the news, basically, day after day after day, you're in constant fear. It wears down your immune system, you know, and it gets into that place. So when we get back from our first break, we'll bring Gaia back on here, and then we'll talk more about just that. What does gratefulness do for us, not only on a biological level, but what does it do for us on more of a spiritual level? We'll hear more about this with Gaia Love. She's one of a kind. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Beth Peters, Atlanta-based psychic, medium, animal communicator, and your host for The Psychic Soup. Every Monday, I bring in fascinating guests and touch on everyday topics, but with a psychic's twist. From authors to radio hosts and even aspiring psychics. I like to talk to people and learn how us psychics can help them in ways they've never dreamed of. Psychic Soup is on Mondays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and other platforms. You can also watch me on Facebook Live, where you can ask your questions and I'll be able to answer it live on air. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as United Intentions, and on Twitter as Higher Intention. Remember, you can always ask your questions beforehand by emailing radio@unitedintentions.org with the subject line Psychic Soup, and I'll make sure to read your question on the air. So relax, take a deep breath, and dive into the Psychic Soup, a spoonful of psychics for soulful readings.
All right, we are back with Gaia Love. I mean, that's probably the best name I've heard on my whole history of radio.
I love it.
Come on, right?
She's got the energy to back it up.
Oh yeah, she has the energy to back. She walks her talk. I'll tell you that. Gaia, we were talking about we lost you there, but we got you back. We were talking about gratefulness and what goes on with that. But I do want to mention one thing before we get back in the conversation. I forgot to mention earlier. Is Get Your Life Back Now DVD series and digital version is out. This is all about integrative medicine. The top docs in the world, Dr. Crowden, Dr. Mercola, Dr. Tennant, Dr. Bush, the whole works. We captured 21 hours of them. You can see this beautiful CD set, 6 CDs, and how you can pick that up. Go to getyyourlifebacknow.live, getyyourlifebacknow.live. And, for the price of one doctor's visit, you got 25 of them coming into your room. So check it out. It's the latest information that they're not being shared with you in the typical medical model, allopathic model, when you go to the doctor's office, unless it is integrative. So it's a life changer and a lifesaver. So please check out getyyourlifebacknow.live. So Gaia, before we went to break, tell me real quick here, what's the best way people to reach you? Is it the one truth, many paths?
I think the best way to reach me, that would be great. But I also feel that, I don't know if it's applicable, but, you can just call me.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
No, it's not. What's your number? Let's get it out there.
Yeah, 541-735-5838. I like that. Right, I like the deep connection with that. Yeah.
All right. Well, I love that attitude.
So, yeah, I wanted to point out something interesting about the whole concept of the divine feminine in which you were speaking. Yeah. So one of the things that is very interesting that I love about you guys is, I like how, we talk about gratitude and attitude, but also there's a very logical sense within that paradigm, right? I like that aspect. Studying the great teachers from Einstein, Deepak Chopra, all of the people that Wayne Dyer, the one that was like so amazing to me, like just going back and studying real neuropsychology as it applies to this attitude of gratitude and how that applies to manifesting and intending to live our best life possible, right? But so Gaia love, a lot of people don't quite understand the merriment of two aspects of myself, the very logical and also spiritual. But the big part of me that's so excited is how to help people actualize something you said in the beginning about writing the 3 things down and these specific techniques, like a tool belt, if you will, of powerful tools to actualize this, best life possible. There are actual things that I teach people to do to retrain their brains, I heard you in a past talking about how we weren't really prepared, right, in school to learn how to do these things. And then we're sort of just put out into our adult lives. And one of the things I'm doing is teaching people with developmental disabilities, small children, how to do these things that we're talking about now, not just for, this adult field of potential, like teaching young people how, their lives are a part of how they, actualize it. It's not just some random thing happening to them, right?
Right.
So I'm excited about that science, that hard science, the neuroplasticity, the idea that we can retrain and really, benefit from these actual things, like writing those 3 things down.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, you hit it on the nose, because science now, especially with the help of quantum physics, is catching up to our spirituality aspect that's been known for thousands of years. It's just we're kind of defining it now through quantum physics and through sciences and epigenetics and the whole works. And so now when you focus on something that you just said you're grateful for, one of the things that you're grateful for, there's this biochemical dance going on in our brains and in our body because of that. You got serotonin now coming in. You got, the endorphins coming in because when we witness an act of kindness, we witness it. We don't have to do it. We just witness an act of kindness. We have a biochemicals dance going on in our body just from witnessing it. So, and the opposite too. When we're watching all this negativity and the horror movies and the media, we're releasing those other biochemicals in our body. And we know, thanks to help with Dr. Bruce Lipton, our thoughts not only affect us from within, but also they go outside of ourselves. So we're affecting other people when we caught ourselves into a constant fight or flight moment of life, of living, right?
Yes, our heart has so much resonance. It's actually scientifically measured now. They've had many studies to prove this fact. Our thoughts have so much power. And just like you said, not only within our own body, but also outwardly in community. And then on the whole large scheme of things, like your friend's shirt, the earth, the human race, and how we perpetuate this experience of living with intention and powerful positivity. You know what I mean? It's just so amazing. I'm so excited about that potential overall. Someone said to me, "Are you always this happy?" And I'm like, it's really freaking authentic. You know what I mean? I mean it. I actually mean it. No matter what I'm doing, I actually mean it. Someone asked me recently, they said, I think they're from New York, and they said, do you ever get mad?
A little paranoid up there, yeah.
I love New York. I love New York, Brooklyn. I love it. But I just want to say that, this is actually who I am. And one of the things that I do, it's quite interesting. People will say to me, wow. And I have this little mirror. I know this is sort of corny, but it's like a little mirror. And I hold it up as an actual thing. And I say, you know what? I am mirroring your potential. We're one in that real way. we're one. And I'm saying, like, if I can do it, believe this, if I can do it, you can do it. And I'm doing it for you, and I am you in some way, in a very scientific way, you know?
Listen, Gaia, you just said something very, very deep. I want to go there because I think you hit on something. Because most people, when like they see people who are living, I say, in the flow, it's not something that comes easy initially. I mean, especially if we're just subjected, we allow ourselves to be subjected to the outside forces, whether it's the entertainment, the media, what's going on in other countries, the poverty, and it easily can, and our thoughts are normally negative to begin with, the majority of them, right? And so we easily could go to that lower level. But to have an attitude of gratitude or live in a state of mindset, I call it a state of being, that you are in, that you live in, that people are like, oh, that can't be really you, you know? It takes deliberate intention. It takes a purposeful intention to stay in that state of being. But the good news is, and tell me if you agree, the longer you stay in that state of being, of that loving energy, the easier it becomes because you're reprogramming your neural pathways. You're reprogramming your release of the certain chemicals, biochemicals that actually, and hormones are actually going to perpetuate that state of being, right?
Yes, 100%. Like, I find that, have you heard this one? Well, first of all, fear. I like the acronym, false evidence appearing real, right?
Yeah.
That's, I mean, get real. And then there are actual things, right? There are actual things. And then the other thing is staying in that divine flow. We began to I love the triad, the mind, body, soul.
Yes.
And I think about it. So many people like work out, do sit-ups. I coined this little thing like sit-ups of the soul, right? Like putting this intention into like growing the spiritual self. And, you know, where we process, you know, the mind, the heart, the gut, knowing these things and being powerful within that, fake it till you make it. Those things are real, right? Those things are really actually real.
Yes. Right.
Yeah. And so as we build them, they become a force that can't be reckoned with, right? And it's really interesting. Like something impacts you and then bam. I tell a lot of my clients there's a tool belt, if you will. And it's a tool belt to like navigate through the earth. And when you fill it with things that help you in those processes, and also like what you add to your life. For an example, like I don't watch TV. And for a long time, people were like, oh, you don't watch the television. Well, like, no, I don't. I intend to like have the best life possible. And so those things that are negative, that like chip away, that don't serve me, I move them. I clear them out. I'm very, very disciplined in that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I wish I was as disciplined as you because I think Game of Thrones still has me caught into the Matrix. But outside of that one, I think I'm pretty free. But, you know, you were talking, it reminded me of the fourth statement on that shirt was, you said Earth. It was, where were you born?
Oh, okay.
Earth.
Nice.
Right? Come on.
Yeah.
Where were you born?
Yeah. I was born in Earth.
Exactly. See, that's how it needs to be, you know. And now we're interacting and connecting with everybody who was born on Earth, which is everybody.
There's no separation.
Exactly.
Division.
You know? But it's a mindset. It's a mindset. We've been conditioned just to think I was born in Manhattan, New York. You know, no. You know, we're born on Earth. You know, do we really own anything? No, we don't own anything. Honestly, when you're dead, you can take anything with you? No. So, no, I love what you're doing, and keeping that state of being is critical. And we're going to take a break here, but when we get back, let's talk more, Gaia, how we can keep that state of being going throughout our day once we wake up in the morning, and how we go on, and how do you do it, because you stay in that state of being. And I want to distinguish between that and denial-based positive thinking, because I don't believe you're there. I think you look at reality for what it is, but you choose to perceive it from a different perspective. So
that's very important. Yes.
It is. So we're talking to Gaia Love. You can reach her at 541-735-5838. 541-735-5838. Give her a call. We're going to be talking about what she does with her clients, with the Goddess traditions and training and the positive psychology when we get back from this quick break. Hope you're enjoying the show. Remember, what's the one thing you're grateful for right now? Think about that over this break, and then come back and call us and let us know what you are. 678-495-4345. Talk to you soon. Hello, my name is Tim Ray, founder of the United Intentions Foundation, where we help people like you untap their true potential and consciously create their reality with their power of their intentions. We're a 501c3 nonprofit foundation, and we need your help. Imagine a world where kids can be themselves and just create. A world where businesses thrive under mindful thinking. An education program that teaches people to tap into their mind and create their ideal world with no hesitations. That's what we are doing at the United Intentions Foundation, and that's what we are accomplishing. Each time you donate to this movement, you help fund our Imagine If program, where we talk to children in schools and teach them the benefits and powers of creating the reality they want to experience. With each donation, you also help fund our online community where people interact and support each other through our social media portal. Here you can create intentions, show gratitude, and connect with people all over the world. Our world is suffering from a crisis of perception, from childhood to adulthood. We have to shift our perception now and begin empowering all with the power of our intention so we can live in a positive future. But this can only continue to happen if you continue to donate. So please, click a recurring or a one-time donation. Now is the time. Man, you got the hits going, man. Man, look at that. Original.
Always, man.
We are talking to Gaia Love. I just want to say that. Gaia Love, Gaia Love, Gaia Love, Gaia Love. We are learning about gratitude and gratitude, attitude of gratitude. And how do we keep that state of being? You know, as Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about, you know, the three principles of keeping a state of being. You know, you could either keep a very negative state of being, or we could keep a very positive state of being. And it's throughout our day. And it's not easy when things are thrown at you, you know? I mean, the more you realize your thoughts, feelings first, and then you experience second, but often the experience loops around and helps create, unfortunately or fortunately, your thoughts as well, or adds to it, or turns them into more beliefs. So how do we create that state of being, Gaia? How do we, from the moment we wake up to the moment, yeah, here she is. From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep, how do you keep that state of being? Look at that. Mm.
And the fact is, we're all connected. And so as a result, there are many things that I do with intent to live that best life possible. And one of the things is mind, body, soul connection, right? I realize that this body, this experience is driven by my powerful manifestation to live that best life, right? So I set intentions like you. I keep gratitude journals. I track my dreams. I do scientific research, like, Dr. Joe Dispenza. I mean, he's someone I listen to every single day. We all have this sort of dark night of the soul. We all have that as human beings, right?
Mm.
I study actual psychology. I study neuropsychology. And then I apply that science and to the actual, forming of my experience. That's very, very important to me. I also do things that I also hear on your show, like, right action. I can go to sleep easy because each and every day I live my life with right action. I'm soulfully
this. Like, this is a dream, but here we are doing it, actually, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is like the beautiful life. We're making it so,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So, yeah.
No, that's incredible. In fact, what you said is, I mean, to keep that mindset, because you really, it's a mindset. If we just looked at the day-to-day to create a state of being, I got to put food on my plate. I got to have a roof over my head. I got to take care of the kids. I got to go to my job. It could get you totally out of that spiritual mindset into this three-dimensional world where you're just kind of surviving. But to really thrive, put yourself into that type of, pull yourself, you still got to deal with the reality of it. But to pull yourself looking at this reality of it from that observer perspective but with a spiritual lens on your eyes. And you can do it when you are the observer, right? You can do it, have that spiritual lens, the colored glasses, the rose-colored glasses, looking at this reality from a different perspective. And that's like, when I meet people like you, I'm like, I'm just like so amazed how you guys could hold that state of being throughout your day. And trust me, I'm sure you're challenged, and everyone has their moments where you just, I don't say lose it, but you just get to the point where you're down in that fear, lower frequencies, whatever period of time. But the more you practice what you do, you don't stay down there that long. You come right out of that, and you realize and you learn. Wow, that was an important lesson to learn. And so you're constantly feeding each other where it's not a state of manifesting all the negativity, but you're growing from it. So let me ask you this question, Gaia. When you hear people who are fear-driven to stay positive, and especially with positive psychology, and you could speak to this, and this is what I call denial-based positive thinking. Or I should say, Teal Swan calls it denial-based positive thinking, where fear drives to always stay positive because I don't want to have fearful experiences. What does that do? What does that do to that person in time?
So, on the contrary, I'm very athletic, not competitive, but athletic my whole entire life. And I actually work in the field of developmental disabilities, Asperger's and autism to be exact. And that was my first, sort of concentration of study. And I wanted to understand how to help people, leave that fear-based, concept behind, no matter what their abilities were. And as a result, I realized that if you put certain markers in place, then what would happen is this would become again and again your actual experience. There's a part that I always say to people, the true test of one's character is defined in the moment of the fire, right? Not when we're picking roses. So in actual form, whenever I do get upset, it almost feels like scrubbing out the soul, right? And I'm like saying to myself, this is exciting. Okay, how am I going to respond? How is my higher conscious evolution going to respond? It's not that I don't think negative things happen. Sure they do. I sort of come on with it. I'm ready for it. All right. Expand my being. Let me be a mirror for those people who are struggling. Yeah, I'm not afraid. Come on with it. So so at the end of the day, I've met really powerful people and I see them, they hide away and suffer. And, it's real. It's real. No matter whether you are an anesthesiologist or a person with tons of pressure, it doesn't matter. The actual life of being in that flow, and actualizing this experience of, I saw you moving in the middle of the break, and it's about that. It's about that celebration, no matter if you're having trouble or not. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's about that. Yes.
No,
I'm so excited I can hardly sit down, right? And I mean it.
Do you not feel that energy from here, Wahid?
Oh, I love it.
Come on.
Yes.
Oh gosh, and I mean to be here with you guys, oh my gosh, yes.
Well, I'm sure this will be the first of many. You're a wonderful guest and sharing wonderful information and helping people out there in the world to help create that state of being. So tell us a little about what you do. How do you serve your clients?
So individuals struggle, as you know, and they're not quite sure. They're hearing all these ideas, and there's just like this plethora of information being flooded out. And people say, I understand this idea of being positive, but they're not quite sure how to apply that, right? And so they get in the dark space, and so they call me up, and I guide them, but I don't really take a lot of credit. I'm only there to remind them of what they already know. And it's this, it's this like eternal place, that this knowing. You said that. I like that. I say that. And just to like tap them on the shoulder and remind them, energy to energy, heart resonance to heart resonance, that they have this. It's within them. They are being, reprogrammed, if you will, by the societal stressors into this unknowing. And I'm only there to remind them, coach them, and love them, and teach them to like love themselves. And I'm very intuitive, and I can sort of like really dig into the aspects that are not serving them. And then I remind them, and I coach them out of it. And then more importantly, I love to teach people how not to need me, right? It's not about me, right? And that's not a real good business paradigm. But again, all my needs are met in such an amazing way that like it's beautiful. I don't even hardly know where it's coming from, right?
She's an epitome of living in the flow, isn't that?
That's right. Absolutely.
Guy,
yes.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
So have you, like, when did you really, I'm sure it was gradual over time, but did you come out of the womb like this, or did you like, you had certain experiences and you woke up to wanting to live in a different state of being?
So I have a beloved father who's very much like myself. And I also want you to know that I too went through a lot of, I grew up in the deep South, in the 80s and the 70s. And, this wasn't.
I don't remember the 80s, but go ahead. Yeah.
This wasn't apparent, right? And so I was in a very rural place. And so I began to be spirit led. I know you understand that. And so I just, step by step, and aligned myself with masters over time, and my life expanded into what I have now. And then there's a calling, about the calling, I'm sure. And I listened, and, and I'm driven by that. And when I am directed soulfully, I act upon it. I'm very disciplined in that, even if I'm embarrassed, if I'm in a public place, and believe it or not, I'm not really that talkative, believe it or not. And I'm kind of demure and shy. But when I'm in public and I'm divinely driven to act upon this soulful intent, I'll just walk right up to people and tell them, and they accept it, and then they get into that flow, and I help them.
Yeah.
And so to answer your question directly, and when I turned about 30, we don't know how old I am, but when I was a few years back.
I can't believe she's 30.
A few years back, I went to a retreat, and it's easy out here to sort of line up with people who are doing this sort of thing. A little bit less it was on the East Coast, and step by step, just, actually doing it. I do yoga, I meditate every day. I really use meditation a lot to strengthen the soul. And so that is really my secret weapon.
Right.
Meditation. Yeah.
And so many more people are waking up to that. It's people think it's it's satanic, or it's a tool. It's like prayer. It's a tool to communicate with the unknown, right? God got us all there is, whatever you want to say. But it's a tool. It's not like it's something that's it's a mechanism, to be able to quiet and listen. And when that happens, we're still, and we're in present moment. So I think that's wonderful. And I know we're going to go into another break here in a second, but when we get back, what I like to talk about is, because you really, just your energy, she's right. She's kind of look at her energy.
So happy.
let's talk about. I want to talk about you strike me as the person of totally embracing her feminine energy. You're not
Yes.
you're not confusing with the masculine. I'm sure you have a masculine energy there, but you understand the difference between you understand the difference between the feminine and masculine energy. And let's talk about how our society really needs to look at embracing truly feminine energy and not being distracted or confused about masculine energy. You know, we all have it, but let's talk about how you do it and then what we can do to bring this ascension energy to this world every day. All right, we'll be right back with Gaia Love.
Yes.
Reach her at 541-735-5838. That's 541-735-5838. She's changing the world one person, one human at a time. Wherever they are, she's reaching out to them. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Maria Sullivan, and welcome to The Silver Lining, a show about overcoming anything life throws at you and seeing the blessings from within. I've dealt with people from all walks of life, people who have believed there was no way out or have given up on life. Well, I'm here to tell you that there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is always a silver lining if you know where and how to look for it. Join me on the United Intentions Network and on Spreaker at United Intentions as we discuss the unfortunate situations in life and learn how others have found their power from within. Hear how they've transformed their world and the world around them for the better. I invite you to listen in, and I hope to see you there.
I could do this all day long.
What, dance?
Yeah, your music just goes right through me, man.
Appreciate that, man.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what. Hello, WDJY listeners. Hope you're enjoying the show today with Gaia Love. I mean, that's a radio host in the making right there.
That's right.
You know, Gaia, you may have to move to Atlanta
ready.
just so we get you on our network. She's on mute right now.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
So we're gonna have to get you to our network and somehow figure this out.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready 100%.
For a shy, demure woman there, I don't know. I think you have what it takes.
I think so too.
Yes, yes.
You're in your element right here.
You're in your element right here. Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so we left off before break, and we were talking about truly embracing feminine energy. So why don't you describe the difference right now between feminine and masculine energy to your knowledge?
So, yeah, that's a great topic. And, you know, the balance of that just being the whole person, right? A lot of people try to divide that, right? But it is within all of us, right? That was a good point you made. Male, female, divine feminine, divine masculine. And so when it comes to embracing my divine feminine, I celebrate that. It's not about, you know, we all come through these human bodies. Our energies all come through into our authentic experience, correct? For a very divine reason. And when it comes to the feminine, like I totally celebrate the feminine 100%. There's a part of myself who is very strong and masculine and capable, but this is an all-encompass human experience. I don't want to eradicate either. I want to embrace fully 100%. So I charge up the feminine in ways that are, you know, like they serve me 100%, right? Like the people want it. I have to give it to them. But also on the other hand, you know, there's a very strong, powerful being within myself. I write a lot about this actually. And I think, you know, who can I be to serve the individual before me who needs that understanding? Many times, like how I have to deliver the information will come through the divine feminine. At other times, it comes through the divine masculine. And to be very honest with you, you know, I just really embrace a lot of ancient techniques like dancing and, you know, and like the alchemy of this experience, like, I grow my own food, I grow my own herbs, there's so many divine feminine qualities that I celebrate and
Right.
by no means want to not be a part of, but also understand that, I understand all the aspects of being just who I am at the moment, who I am, that is needed and showing up in this flow. Yeah. Absolutely. 100%.
See, that is, to me, when you embrace your masculine and your feminine energy, you look at it for more so from, I say, the better of the qualities. It's like we were listening to Michael about the archetypes, right? Each archetype has, the lover, right? Could have an could have an enabling side, but yet could also have the incredible, unconditional loving side, right? So same thing with our feminine masculine energy. When we overdo one or the other, we're often living and coming from a place of kind of compensation and lack, and it has usually a lower vibrational experience. But when you're coming from a perspective of, like, for example, the feminine energy of the nurturer, of the love, unconditional love, and you embrace that aspect of it, and then when somebody doesn't love you back, it's okay, because you're coming from an unconditional perspective. And when you find yourself not loving someone because they're not loving you back, then perhaps you're not coming from that feminine unconditional love. You're coming from a conditional love, which, I don't know, maybe more masculine. Who knows? Guys are as low as their options. So a good woman will not give a man any options, right? Just kidding, guys. I know you guys are spiritually, we're developing. All right, we'll get there. So embrace our feminine energy, and we'll get there. So, but you know what I mean in reference to that. You have to really, really live it, and not just, like, you could fake to make it, but you got to learn to encompass that energy. And I don't know what are the better way of describing the feminine energy other than it is the ascension energy. It's a powerful energy. Why is that the ascension energy? Because it's just strictly unconditional love. Unconditional love is the way to grow.
I find it so attractive when a man can, embrace his divine feminine. Someone said that to me recently, and it was so attractive, just so you know. But I want you to know that I do believe that divine masculine can also encompass this amazing love aspect, right? That's very much needed from the divine feminine. And within that unconditional love, that is what gives us flight. I mean, everything that we do without condition and with compassionate detachment as well, this will actualize the love embodiment, right? And I like to say living love actually. And that's what I'm doing, right? That's what I'm doing, living love actually. People ask me all the time, they say, how do you emit youth and this vibration of just like celebratory nature? And I'm like, it's love and a lot of lotion, right? But love, right? Love and lotion. That's what it is. And I mean, honestly, it's about, embracing that. When I worked in fields that are very trying, and just, yes, I'm Earth Mother, and yes, I really relate to the divine feminine, but also just the love vibration. It almost has no, it's a compass of both balance, right? Both. And that love, it's just a beautiful thing. I get so excited. Optimum living.
Well, it is. That's a good point. It's optimal living. When you're embracing your feminine and your masculine energy, like you said, masculine energy these days seems to be getting a raw deal, or at least we're raising kids to be very confused, especially little boys, right, which I think is sad and harmful in many ways, self-esteem wise. But the masculine energy, the protector, the person who wants to provide, right? That part of us is important to embrace too. I think she's back.
No, I'm talking.
Yeah, that part is we really want to embrace as well, and it's that combination of the two, and it's a fine balance. But I do think you have to let go of societal norms, because whatever societal norms are today, they're not norms. All right, they're kind of mind control created for other purposes, in my perspective, to not add and enlighten to the human being to unfold themselves, who they truly are. So I kind of appreciate it now. I used to be much more upset and angry about it, but I see it now that we all have been conditioned to go outside of ourselves to find ourselves. I mean, in every aspect. And now, looking outside, you see a lot of this perceived negativity, all these type of things like, oh God, I want to stay home and play video games all day long, right? And, you know, whatever the people are doing these days. And where that's not the answer either, but because it's so perceived negative out there, we have no choice but to go within ourselves to find our answers. So we're being kind of forced or corralled to a point where we got to go within ourselves because we have nowhere else to go. And so overall, that's a perspective I take of why I think the sooner we can get to where your mindset is right now, where your state of being is right now, the better off the world will be. I mean, this whole house of cards would fall apart if everybody was like Gaia, right?
Oh, thank you so much. I have a beloved grandson, and he's in what you said was making me think of.
She does wear her youth well, you know. And no, I agree 100%. You said that. You know, you want to look younger. You want anti-aging. Start having this state of mindset like you have. Honestly, that is the best way to slow things down. I've seen it over and laugh a lot. Like my saving grace is I laugh a lot.
You look really young. You look really young. You look amazing. You're vibrant. And one of the things I think is so important is like really at the end of all this is paying attention to the little things. The little things mean so much. And, you know, like I was thinking about that, what you're saying when my little grandson, his name is Angel, and he's so precious. And I see him, he's around a bunch of feminine energy, and I want to celebrate his masculine energy. So I intend to uplift him. And I believe in the future, in the generations that are coming through as a result of our awakening. This platform, United Intentions, and how we are actualizing this amazing experience through our intentions. And that is the work that I do. I really want to teach the kids how not to, you know, look without themselves, like you said, outside of themselves. It is within. It is within. And we can teach them how to, he said to me, he said, remember, Gaia, be grateful. And I said, oh yeah, I'm over here being grateful, buddy. And he's like, yes. And so I love that when we're teaching 4-year-olds how to live with gratitude. That's the future.
Yes.
That's what I believe. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Well, she's something, a prime candidate for Imagine If program to get that out there and share that with the world.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. I'm reading about it right now.
Oh, wonderful.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's
your
what,
biggest fan.
Well, fantastic. Well, I'm yours now, so okay.
Oh,
so
good.
Right back at you.
Good.
Again, people want to reach you. We have a couple more minutes left. Or you can reach you, Gaia, at 541-735-5838, 541-735-5838. Also, last minute here, tell us what do you want to leave with what's the impression you want to leave with everybody right now? In these times, and you know, some people say trying times. I say it's a perception. It's not a crisis out there. It's a crisis of perception. But nevertheless, people perceive crisis or they're experiencing crisis. So, what loving thoughts would you want to leave people right now who perhaps are experiencing a crisis of perception?
Well, first of all, that's exactly right. Second of all, call me and I'll help you. but aside from that, you know, learning techniques, but staying in the love flow. And if you don't know how to do that, call me. I'll tell you how to do that. Watch United Intention show and listen. Open your heart. If you're afraid, if you're in a place of the dark heart, there's hope. You know, there's hope, and you can look to others and see what we're doing. We're not, you know, any different than you, and you can do this as well. And there are exciting, new, scientifically proven aspects of what we can do actually to live our best life. And if you don't know what those are, call me. I can tell you what they are, and I can help you with that. And you know what? I mean, it just feels amazing. And at the end of the day, I want to share with people how they're just like me and they can feel amazing as well. And you know, that's what I want to leave with people, that I love you. And your life matters, and there is a way out of this, you know, perception delusion, and or what we might call arrested perception, right? There's just a way out of that to live your best life possible.
Well, you're doing it. Beautifully stated. I want to thank you for coming on. Hang on a second, if you can, for a minute. I want to thank you for coming on. And you are just a great soul, loving soul, and you're needed now in this time of where we are today with all this shifting of energy. You are needed, and you do matter. And I'm grateful you're here on Earth. Welcome.
You too. Right. I'm grateful. Thank you.
All right. Guys, hope you enjoyed the show. We have Beth Peters coming on in a half hour, I think. Don't want to miss that. Call in. Again, you can reach her and get us some live readings at 678-495-4345. All right, guys. We'll see you in a little bit. Take care. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to The Good Intention Show.